Hello everyone and welcome to the Fairy Craft Festival for Lavinia Stamps. It's Rosemary here from the Lavinia Stamps design team. Hope you're all keeping well and enjoying the summer. So today I'd like to share a tutorial with you. So I made this card using the new Dinkles in the background and some of the new stamps, which I'm hoping you're all loving. They are absolutely beautiful. There's a little mixture of some old stamps as well. So let's get started, shall we? So for this card, I have used an A5 piece of Lavinia multifarious card. Okay. And my Dinkles. Now I've used 5 different colours. So I've used Amethyst, pink, sea blue, burnt orange and lime divine. Spray my card with a little bit of water. I'm going to start with my blue. So I've put a pin in the top of mine just to don't have to keep opening them in case I drop it and it goes everywhere. And I gently just flicked my colours onto my surface. And then I'm going to use my pink and now I'm going to spray just a sprinkling of water to get my colours flowing. I have no order in using the colours, I just use them randomly. Now using green. And orange. Putting some up the top there. And some purple. A little bit much came out there. I'm just going to add a little more sea blue because I really love. I'm going to spray what I've put on so far. Lovely vibrant colours. I'm just going to add some more blue. And as you can see, as they hit the water, they really do spread lovely. There we go. Adding more blue for the sky background, really. Sprinkle a little bit more water. And then my next task was to get my second piece of multifarious card and just lay it on top of the first one and just rub them together. And then I just peeled them apart. And there we go. So I'm just going to put a bit more colour on them 2 areas there. And there we go. And then I just gently dabbed. And I'm leaving them to dry naturally. So that's our 2 backgrounds. So we're going to use the same background that was used on the first card. And what I did to start with was I used my stamping platform. I hope you're loving the new stamps. And the first set of stamps I'm using are called Forest Flower. So this is the new Forest Flower stamp. Beautiful, pretty flower. And I'm going to use them both. So I've got my stamping platform ready. And I'm going to put my large flower first. If you do use your background straight away that you've just made, make sure they're dry. And I'm going to use Versafine Clair in Medieval Blue. I'm just going to gently dab onto my stamp. And I'm going to press down gently. And there we go. I'm happy with that. We are going to use our Versafine Clair ink in Nocturn. Versafine Clair Nocturn. The reason I'm using the back of my stamp pad is it's got a nice spongy base. I'm going to ink up our first one, which is the one that's sort of kneeling. And she is going to go so that she's actually kneeling on the actual flower itself. So I'm just making sure that her hands and her feet are touching the base of the flower. And just press down for a few seconds. Make sure our ink soaks into our card. I'm going to now use my stamping platform to stamp my fairies. So the next fairy we're going to use is the little fairy with the lamp. I'm going to put her about there. Have her at a slight angle. There we go. Here's this little fairy. So we're using 1, 2, 3 fairies out of the 4. And I'm just going to have her there. So pick our stamp up. There we go. And then press down with that one. And there we go. Much better. So that's our Fairy Foragers done. The next thing we're going to stamp is our words for our flowers. So we're using the harmony words. Mine all been put in one packet. So the harmony words are nature, flower, wish and harmony. But I'm only using 3. So I'm using flower, nature and wish. The other one from this set is harmony. So I'm having my flower next to this middle flower. So I'm just lining that up there. I'm having wish on the stem of my final flower. And I'm having nature on the stem. I'm lining them up with the stem of our flower. Okay. And then I'm just going to turn that over and pick all three up together. And once again, I'm stamping them in black. Now these really do stamp really lovely. Turn over our flap. And there we go. That's our three harmony words stamped. So we're getting along nicely. Working really well on our card. So this is a new set called the Vine set. Okay, and they stamp, well, as Lavinia stamps always stamp so beautifully. They really, really do. Now I'm going to definitely use my circle acrylic block or round acrylic block. I'm just going to make sure there's ink on my stamp. And I'm stamping this one here. And then just here, I'm going to stamp second generation. For my middle flower stem, I'm going to stamp the opposite direction from the last one. So I'm stamping to the right of the middle flower, also going on the right, because I didn't want it to get in the way of my wish. Oops, I didn't want to do that. So I'll get another piece of scrap paper and just stamp that off on there. Now I'm going to stamp the second generation coming in this way, and then a little bit of a one there. Not worried about these at the base, because I am going to trim off the bottom of my card and just do a few more little second generation ones. We have another one there. Okay. Right, I'll just take that off there now. Move that out of the way. And I think for the time being we've finished with our stamping platform. And this is where we are so far. So now I'm starting to consider cutting down my card. So I'm just going to get my vine branch, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful stamp. Really like this one. And I'm just going to look where I want to cut my card down to. Okay, so I'm going to cut my card about an inch above her wings, as I have on this one. So it's about well, not quite an inch above her wings. And that's it. I'm happy with that now. Now I'm going to put my stamp away, because it's a small one. I'm always worried I'll lose them. So there we go. So that's our card so far. The flower pods, let's see if you can see, I've used multicoloured glitter pens. So I've used orange, pink, green, purple, yellow and blue, which are the colours that were in that we used for our background. And I've also got a gold and a silver coloured pen to highlight my flowers. So what I did for my colouring was I started with one colour, and I will fast forward this video once I've given you all the directions. I colour a few bits in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off doing a bit of each, and then I'll fast forward the video because it's going to take me quite a while. Okay, so I just picked a large one on each side, on each area that you can see in between the leaves, and then I coloured 6 or 7 smaller ones, far apart as I could get them. And then for each fairy's wing I just gently went round with dots. So that's my pink. And next I'll use my blue, so I do 1 or 2 large areas. Then I'll just randomly dot some of the small ones in different areas. And then I'll move on to the yellow and do the same thing again. Right, these pens are Uniball Signo pens, and they're very glittery. So we just do a couple more, couple of little bits up here and up here, and some large areas down here. And I just kept on doing this until I'd filled in the whole pod with all the different colours. And as you can see, our flowers are all sparkly and nice. So now I just done a few random little dots above each flower, so the seeds look like they're sprinkling up into the sky. The fairies are disturbing the pods and releasing them all into the sky to grow next year. There's a few little random dots. There we go. Now the next thing to do before I forget is to give a little bit of light into our fairies lantern and just bring out some rays of light. Not too much, just a little bit. Okay. And then we can go over that with a gold pen. That will show up a little bit more. Okay. So now I'm just going to go around my fairies. So now we can concentrate on bringing back our piece of paper And we're now going to stamp our words down one side. I'm going to stamp my words down the right hand side. I'm going to stamp them with Versafine Clair Morning Mist. I'm going to put them on my Lavinia Stamps block. I use the Lavinia Stamps logo as a... Right, so I'm going to put that... I'm going to put that to one side. Keep that in picture. And I'm going to not use my first generation. I'm going to start at the top. And I'm just stamping second and third generation. That's some wording. This says, a time to reflect on one's life and hold what is close to our heart. And it's called A Time to Reflect. Right, so we're going to use the vine branch. And I'm putting it on my Lavinia block. These are thin blocks, they're quite nice for doing easy stamping. Okay, and I'm going to also stamp this in grey. So I'm just going to, I'm not using the whole stamp, I'm only using the leafy area and a bit of the stem. So I'm starting off by bringing my first part to here, remembering to hold in place to make sure we get the right amount, and then just bring a little bit of second generation just to give it a little bit more in the background. So that is all our stamping done now, and that is our card nearly actually finished. So what I did next was I put my glitter pen on all these little buds or leaves of the branch. So we'll do that now. And once again, I'll fast forward it so you don't have to watch me colouring in all these little tiny leaves. And there we go. I haven't missed any more bits. So that's our card finished now. So now we just need to mount it up and go around the edge with a blue brush. So I get my blue brush, and I've got two different blues. I've got Blueprint Sketch and Salty Ocean, because I just want to go around the edge. Bring your eye more into the centre when you go round with a bit more ink on the edge of your card. And then I'd like to go around it again with just a little bit of a dark blue. So we'll start here. Just very, very gently. So this is our card now. So as you can see, it's nice and sparkly. And now we're going to mount our card up. So what I do now is I'll just get a piece of white card and a pencil, and I just mark. I always do this by eye. I don't know why. It's what I'm comfortable with. And then I'm going to bring my paper back on, because now I'm just going to brush around the edge of my card so it's got a little bit of colour that coincides with some of the colours that are on my card. I could have used the background that I had spare, which I've just used for my first card. This is the one I made earlier, which is now drying out. So that's one of them. And this is the other one. And as you can see, they're drying quite nicely. I need to put them under a flat book in a little while to flatten them down a bit. Multifarious card does like water. So that's our card. I like to do that now. Coral glue on my back of my card. Just hold that in place for a minute. And I already have folded an A4 piece of stamping card to mount my card on. And there we go. And I'll just trim that down to size. If you wanted, you could put another sentiment like happy birthday or something down there. And there we go. So there's our card finished again. Let's move all our stuff out of there. So there's two cards made from the same background, placing one on top of the other. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my video. Good luck with all the prize giving and competitions over the weekend. And I hope you really enjoy the new stamps. They are absolutely beautiful. Have fun, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.